Hi Pisces, welcome to your week ahead Taroscope with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these readings are for your sun, moon and ascendant signs. So whether you're a sun, moon or rising sign Pisces, this is for you. Remember, they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody. That is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise, and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So it is worth mentioning, if you are new to the Radiant Nation, as some of you are, I've seen a few comments recently, and I want to address this here and now because I want to squash it. Right now, I don't go out of my way to upset anybody with my predictions or my readings, but here in the Radiant Nation, we know life is infinite shades of grey, right? You're going to have good times, you're going to have bad times. If you are the sort of person that gets very anxious and you can't handle a heavy reading, this is not the place for you, right? I don't censor myself, I don't edit my readings. What you get is what you get. Sometimes it's going to be really wonderful. Sometimes it's going to be, heartache and, things that are not really... I don't like making heavy predictions. However, I'm going to tell you what I see in the cards, and that is a full spectrum of life, right? So if you can't handle those kinds of predictions, straight up, this is not the place for you, okay? Now, for those of you that know how I do what I do, you have the Lovers card as your key to the week, right? So in all of these different areas of life, now, obviously, we're always making decisions. We make something ridiculous like thousands of decisions within a day. But the Lovers card tends to represent bigger or larger choices that lead to bigger or larger sort of ripples or consequences or even actions in our lives. So in all of these different areas, there's going to be some kind of shift or change that takes place for you. Now, when it comes to love, relationship, partnerships, it does suggest potentially that your relationship, if you're in one, or a person that you meet that you potentially get into a relationship with, could affect all of these different areas of your life. But in all of these different areas of your life, you are going to have some heartfelt choices that need to be made. For your actions and options, you have the Knight of Cups, right? So I don't know if you can see that. Knight of Cups, right? So you've got the Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups tends to be a solid offer, and what this tells me is, Pisces, look at you, you little brave spark. For those of you that are single, the Pisces is reaching out to somebody that they like, and they are going for it. You're shooting your shot, Pisces. I'm impressed. Get out there and get yours, baby. I love it. I love it. I love it. Now, this can be across the board as well. It doesn't have to just be in the love life. This could be in your career. It's like you're going after something that you really want. You've made the choice. You've made the decision. Now you're going after it, right? It's a hop, skip and a jump. Now, in terms of the options or the options or the opportunities that are available to you, the Knight of Cups basically says by taking the reins, you're going to create more of them. So even if you don't get the thing or the person that you're going after, it's going to start or produce a momentum of sorts that's going to bring you more opportunities regardless. So it's a really important step. For your communications and conversations, you have the Five of Swords, right? Now, Five of Swords is not an easy card because it can represent arguments and or disputes. And very often with this, the Five of Swords, sometimes it can see us acting out of character. Now, in this regard, where you're shooting your shot and you're going in for something, that's the good out of character. Getting into arguments and battles and, swearing and effing and blinding and all the rest of it, it's not really your style. So I will say... maybe try and find a way to not even control yourself, but try and find a way for you to really manage yourself, all right, and your approach to things. For those of you that are studying or in some form of academia, Five of Swords with the Knight of Cups. You could be fighting for a cause this week. So there's something that you feel really passionate about, enough certainly to speak up on either your behalf or somebody else's behalf, and really not hold back. Like in some way, shape or form, this sees you really putting your 2 pence in, right? And you're not going to be done until you are heard. Listen, more power to you. I'm out here like praise, preach, right? For those of you that are employed by somebody else, this is a little more tricky to navigate because you've got the Lovers card. This looks like you've been umming and ahhing over whether you should say something about this situation that has arisen at work, and maybe you've left it long enough and now you're like, you know what, I need to say something because I can feel that everybody is waiting for me to respond to whatever the situation is. Honestly, I think showing some teeth and a little bit of backbone this week is actually the way to go. Again, measure your response, because you don't want to, you know, walk into the boss's office and you fucking listen to me. Right, we don't want that. Unless, of course, you've already decided to quit, in which case go in and let them have it. Everyone's just like, what happened? I don't know. They just came in and lost their shit and walked out. Right? Like, all jokes aside, measure your response. But this is one of those times where I think you are standing up for yourself. Just make sure that that message doesn't get lost in the translation of how you say it. For those of you that are business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, people that work for themselves, you've got competition. And quite frankly, with this combination of cards, I think you are going to wipe the floor with your competition. Not because what you're doing is the absolute best in the world and, you know, all of the rest of it. I think it's because you're finally ready, willing and able to fight for yourself in a way that feels fair. All right, so love that. And then for those of you that are retired and no longer working, I think you have bitten your tongue on something for a long time. And I think here, for some of you, you know what this is. You've had other stuff happen over the last 6 to 8 months, but for a lot of you, this is where a situation has brewed and brewed and brewed. And on this side of it, I actually think this is a lot of you. You're going to let rip on a situation because you've got it with the Knight of Cups. I actually feel like what you've bitten your tongue on is like, you don't want to highlight what you've done for people. But the truth of the matter is, bitches be out here and be really fucking quick to forget what you do for them, right? Real fucking quick to be out here forgetting what you do for them. And then the second you mention it, it's like, oh wow, if you were going to throw it in my face. No. Don't turn this around on me. I've done you many a good deed, many a good turn, and not once have you ever even shown a piece of gratitude, let alone given me a thank you. And then it sullies the whole thing, right? Because then it's like, well, you know, I shouldn't have to ask for a thank you. Quite frankly, there's 2 ways this will go. You will either pull your support, and then it will be like, oh, well, you know, why have you stopped doing that? And then at that point, you can kind of say, well, you know, the ingratitude, you haven't given me a thank you, or whatever. And, you know, I read this meme a little while back, and it said that the people that will have a problem with you setting down your boundaries are the people that have gained the most from you not having any. And that really, really stuck with me. Like, it really stuck with me, and I'm passing it on to you. For your love and relations, you have the Strength card. So in this deck, it's Strength. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, Strength. All right, so before we get into that, for those of you that would like to know, the next clearing cohort, so February's clearing cohort, is all about love. So January's was all about fear. I have to say, for the first ever group that I ever took on the clearing cohort, they were incredible. When I say they really did the work, I mean they really got in deep. We had so many shifts, so many realizations. It was so powerful. It was so wonderful for me to facilitate. I feel so genuinely blessed to have done such a thing. And here, This month for February, the clearing cohort is about love. So I want to give everybody a heads up before I release it to let you know that it is coming. But because of the subject matter, I'm expecting this one to go pretty quickly. So keep an eye out because it's going to be on my socials. I'll drop another video about it as well. All right. Now, speaking of love, you've got the Strength card. So for those of you that are single and looking, this is you going for it. Pisces is shooting their shot this week. I'm so proud of you guys. I love to see this. That Strength card, you're being brave, you're being bold, you're getting out there. With the Knight of Cups, you're even strutting your stuff just a little bit as well. I'm here for it. Okay, for those of you that are partnered, married, or in long-term commitments, this with the Five of Swords is slightly different for you guys. Now, it's not bad. This could just be where you're putting your foot down with a partner and you're kind of giving it to them straight. And maybe that Five of Swords, like maybe you come across as like a little bit strong or a little bit forceful and they're like, oh, you know, why are you trying to pick a fight? And you're like, no, I'm not trying to pick a fight. I'm just telling you how things are going to be from here on in. This is you effectively pulling rank in a sense in your relationship, which sometimes it needs to be done. For your money and materials, you have the Five of Cups. Okay, so look, there is going to be some kind of expense, an unexpected expense this week. It's also possible, because you've got two fives here, two fives is a vigil. This could be where you have maybe taken your eye off the ball financially with something and you hadn't anticipated what you might need to do at a later date. It happens to the best of us, right? It's possible for everybody. Because you've got this with the Lovers card, it does suggest that this week you've got a financial decision that needs to be made. And it's almost like, you know, one of those times where you're damned if you do and you're screwed if you don't. And it's kind of like you can either do this with your money or you can do this with your money, but you can't do both. You're presented with a tough choice this week financially, I'm really sorry to say, where it'll improve, you know, as we get into March. Actually, I think things will really start to improve for you. But when it comes to your physical health and vitality, that Five of Cups, be very careful with your overindulgence this week, my Pisceans, right? Whatever your overindulgence is, whether it's food, drugs, alcohol, sex, weed, or, you know, whatever your overindulgences are, there's a possibility that they could really, and you might think to yourself like, oh, you know, I'm just dealing with my mind and, you know, all the rest of it. And no, it's the Five of Cups. No, honey. Okay. Finally, when it comes to your home and environment, the Five of Cups, it could actually be something around a home or a home matter that ends up being the thing that costs you in some regard. All right. So just watch out for that. Now, when it comes to your physical, no, already done that. For those of you that would like to book a personal reading with me, you can do so on the link in the description box below. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.